Team, it has been a minute since I have recorded a commentary video. Hey, I'm sorry, okay? I got locked in to redecorate my homestead for like the third time because I'm at decoration cap. I'm actually just waiting on a PvE update. Times are tough, okay? And then, no downstate week happened, had to make a video on that. And then, I got locked into KCD2 again. And then, I've been busy, okay? But today, I got something special, right? I got fights in Wvw. And I know what you're saying. Fights in Wvw aren't real. They're fake. Hey, and I thought so too. But over the past couple months, I've gotten some decent fights. And it's made me realize something, right? You can get fights pretty much anywhere in the Alpine Borderlands. And, I made a video about roaming in EVG. I suppose this video will be a video about roaming in the Alpine Borderlands, and maybe the next one will be roaming in Desert BL. I don't know, maybe. That one might be kind of rough, so maybe not. No promises. But in today's video, all the fights are going to be in the Alpine Borderland. I'm going to go over mostly decision making and kind of what I'm looking out for, rather than just what I'm doing or the combos I'm using. So hopefully, even the Mesmer players and non-Mesmer players can learn something new. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy, I hope you learn something, and hopefully, maybe, possibly, you want to, maybe try out solo roaming, maybe. Anyways, let's get into the video. Now, I'm going to start at the southeast camp because most of the time, most of the content is on the south side of the Alpine Borderland. Here, I see there's a Spear Power Thief here. I decided to go ahead and open up pretty aggressively with a Spear 2 and Blink. Now, I'm able to get a little bit of damage, but to be honest with you, it wasn't worth the Blink. Pops up on the archway. Now, I stay away until I have my block up because I don't want him to steal from the top of the archway down to me. That puts me in a pretty bad spot. I'm able to land some decent damage with the Shield 5 connecting as well. Then he swaps his staff, and this kind of throws me for a loop, right? Because I wasn't really expecting that combo, but I'm able to block the Steel with the Scepter 2. And this guy is kind of on the ropes right now. He popped his Dagger Storm. He's making some distance. But while I'm fighting this guy, I'm making sure to keep my eye out towards the spawn of the enemy. Because just like this Connie Druid right here, players are always coming from respawn. Now, luckily, this Thief does decide to back off and let me 1v1 this Connie Druid. However, unfortunately for me, Connie Druid is pretty much one of the worst things you can run into in a 1vx fight. And it's not quite a 1vx yet, but I'm not going to be able to kill this guy anytime soon. So being so close to spawn, it will most definitely turn into a 1vx. So again, just kind of keeping my eye out, making sure I can look through that archway every once in a while. And then I see a Thief and a Willbender coming towards me through the archway. So immediately I decide to port up. I want to separate either the Thief or the Willbender. And the Thief decides to follow me, which is perfect. Pop Massive Vis, charge my Mantra while I have a second, and then I go ahead and drop some damage on this Thief. He jumps down as soon as I go for a Spear 5, so this puts me in a pretty bad spot where I do not want to be. So I decide to make my way towards the rocks where I can get a nice no port spot for the Thief and LOS a little bit from the Ranger. Now, the Thief is following me pretty aggressively, so I decided to drop a Shield 5, I'm able to stun this guy, and then land a nice Scepter 2 into the Spear 2. F2, Wombo combo, right? And I'm able to down this guy. However, now that he's down, I kind of have to put the pressure on him to cleave because the Druid is going to have a lot of res potential. So I decided to double down this guy with a Sphere Burst, and at the same time, I'm able to down the Willbender as well. Now, at this point in the fight, I'm in a pretty good position, right? I'm able to charge Mantra. I'm able to get my heal off, back at full health. My combo is going to be up soon with Spear. And, this downstate is in a pretty good spot in general for me to fight, right? I'm able to look down towards the enemy spawn, and I'm kind of able to keep an eye on my surroundings while I fight both of these guys at the same time. Now, while I'm fighting these guys, I should have safe stomped this Willbender with my Distort, but I wasn't thinking straight, okay? I was in the midst of combat, okay? And mistakes are going to be made sometimes. But with the downstate Guardian heal and the Druid being able to hand res so much, I am not going to be able to cleave these guys. And then right about this time, I see that there is a Harbinger, and also the Thief from before is also back. Now, I'm able to reflect the Sword 5 from the Harbinger just by pure luck, right? But by this time, the Willbender is back up, and I see that the Thief is back as well. Now, I decide to focus him, and I do some decent damage immediately with Scepter 2 and F1. That's what that combo was. And then as soon as I kind of get some breathing room, I decide to jump back down on him, followed it up with a Spear 2 into the F1, and then return. Now I see the Willbender is going for the res, I know this guy's glassy too, so I decided to jump on that, use it to my advantage. I'm able to get that guy down as well and double down the thief once again. Unfortunately, my cooldowns are pretty low. I had to go up top, and this gives him a free hand res on the Willbender, and I wasn't able to charge my mantra in time, so now I'm in a terrible spot. I'm trying to make my way around the wall here to get my heal off, but unfortunately I go down, and I rally from the Willbender somehow. I guess he left the map or something, but we are back into it, didn't skip a beat. Now, I decided to go for the Harbinger because he is probably the next most killable thing, and he's also pretty dangerous. I'm able to get back around the wall, charge my mantra, and then just in time to drop a shield 5 on the Harbinger, but unfortunately, just bad timing all around. Now I'm fighting 2 Connie players. Look at all those Connies immediately. So I have to jump back up on top of the archway here, but unfortunately, the Harbinger is just too good, and he downs me with a staff 2. And if that ain't the story of the southern camps right there. Now, obviously, I couldn't talk about the southern Alpine Borderland area without talking about South Camp itself. And South Camp, it suffers from the same issue. It's just too close to the enemy's respawn. See here, I see there's 2 Connie Berserkers. I see there's a Vindy. I decided to just go in with some damage, see what gets low. I see the Harbinger took a decent amount of damage. Dropped a wombo combo on him. Get him and the Vindy down. I get the Ranger low. I get one of the Berserkers low. I try to interrupt the res, but there's like 18 Connies on me immediately. I have to back off. And then, while I'm fighting this guy, the Power Mesmer joins, and that pretty much is gonna like take me out, right? But then, right there in the background is a Weaver coming in on his trusty steed, and then while I'm getting cleaved out, there's another guy in the background that would have killed me if I killed all 6 of these guys. And that is South Camp. However, the Southern Towers are a whole different ball game. And this tower right here, man, I love this tower right here. It always gives me good fights, right? So I run inside this tower. I see there's a little Zerg to the right. I see there's a Deadeye right here. I get the clarity on him. But there's 2 players over here by themselves, half AFK. I see one's a Scrapper. I decide to jump on that just because the other one is a Core Necro. And even though he's at half health, and even though he is half AFK, he is still going to take forever to kill. I'm able to get a safe stomp on the Scrapper while I reflect the Deadeye auto attacks for half his health. I'm able to down him with a shield 4 into the F1, and then I can go straight into the Score Necro. Now I'm trying to make this fight as fast as possible because obviously I'm right next to that enemy Zerg, and I want to get these guys out of the way as quickly as possible. However, Core Necro, that's kind of hard to do. And at the same time, a Reaper is coming across the bridge here. Now you got to pay attention to this Reaper because he's important for the story, right? He's about to Shroud 2 right off the edge there, and I'm able to get the Core Necro down just in time for a DH to join the fight, and a Scourge is running across the bridge here. Now I know I have to start cleaving this Core Necro because if he gets up, I don't have the momentum or the cooldowns to down him again, and I decide to drop all my damage on top of him. And this in turn downs the DH as well. However, I do go down to 13 stacks of Torment from the Scourge, which is very unfortunate. However, there's another enemy cleaving out the other enemy, which rallies me. How about that? Look at that. And we were right back into it. I'm immediately going for this Core Necro again, and I don't keep him down, but I'm able to down the Scourge and the DH once again. However, unfortunately, a Virtuoso and a Willbender join the fight as well. Now, I don't win this one, but it was good. It got the blood flowing. And guess what? I'm going right back. Alright, I'm back at the same tower, but the situation has changed, right? Nobody's here. But the tower is open, and I mean, unless you're a super weirdo, you aren't opening towers for no reason, right? So I know there's probably somebody around. I'm looking around for Katas, looking around for maybe a 50-man Zerg somewhere, but I do see this DH, and he starts coming up the stairway. Now, most of the time, if it's one player coming towards you, there's probably teammates not far behind. So I'm kind of just waiting around, biding my time, and I get in a good spot here, so I go ahead and dismount this guy, and then waste his God Chain, which is a good cooldown to waste for me. And then there is another player up top, which is a Reaper. Now, I want to go ahead and focus this Reaper. For one, he's separated from his teammates, but also he's going to have a lot of boon corrupts, and he might just randomly hit me with a 9k Spinal, so probably best to get him out of the way. Unfortunately, I missed the jump, kind of put myself in a weird spot here, but fortunately, Reaper 2 will just track, and I can jump right off the building, separate him from his teammates again, and basically just wombo combo him to death down here. Now, I decided to keep dropping damage right on top of him. I want to get him as low as possible in down state, and this also does a ton of damage to the DH in turn. Now, I want to kind of keep the momentum up in this fight because, again, I am right in front of the enemy spawn, so the longer I am here, the worse it is for me. Now, I play a little bit too aggressive here. I decided to drop a lot of spear damage on top of this Necro again, and it does work out for me. I am able to rally myself, but it's definitely a gamble. And this also puts me in a good spot with the DH2 because he's used a lot of his cooldowns. I'm able to down this guy fairly quickly. And now all I'm left with is this Harbinger. However, Harbinger is very, very, very dangerous, even still to this day. And I have to play kind of conservative with my cooldowns here. I'm able to get the safe stomp immediately poured away, and I get the clarity off of the supplies hut there. You know, little Linus tech tip for you there. And I'm able to follow it up with a nice Shield 5 stun into a nice F1, and then get my heal off, and then follow it up with a Scepter 2, then go for the Wombo combo with Spear again, and this time I'm able to down this guy, and just like that, that is a nice, clean, easy fight, easy 1v3, using the tower to my advantage there. And yeah, on to the next fight. All right, moving to the north side of the Alpine Borderlands. Now, sometimes it gives you really great fights. Sometimes there's too many people to fight, and sometimes there's nobody to fight at all. Every once in a while, you'll get a good fight in the ruins, all right? Here I see there's a Reaper behind me. I see that there is a Willbender and a Untamed on top of this ruin, so I decided to go ahead and jump on him with the Wombo combo, down the Willbender fairly early, but unfortunately, I get trapped in the baby cage by the Untamed, and let me tell you, I'm not having a good time in here, okay? But I'm able to survive with Distort, right? Get the clarity on the downstate, and then go for the C-split Wombo combo on the Untamed. Now, I did this because I thought that the Reaper would follow me, but he did not, so I would have just saved continue split, but that's okay, we're working with what we got. We down both of them, cleave them, just in time to see another red name running towards me. I decided to pop my heal, and for this, I'm going to open up with my shield block. That way I can keep a hold of that out of combat regen for as long as possible and get my health back up. Now, once my health is back up, I'm able to go back into the fight. There's a couple things I'm looking out for with Power Reaper, right? Spinal is one of the bigger ones, and also the Reaper Shroud 5 that I just got hit by, and also Chilled to the Bone, right? So pretty big CCs, and Spinal just doing a ton of damage. Also, you want to look out for that Axe too, because it will absolutely shred you. Here, I mess up my timing on the dodge somehow. Dude, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? But I'm able to pop the Massive Viz, get a little bit of breathing room just in time for this Untamed to come back. I'm able to down the Reaper with a nice F2, and then kind of just biding my time until this Untamed shows back up. Now, this Untamed, he has Spirit, which is kind of scary. He does pop his Elite and his Stone Signet almost immediately, so I'm kind of just waiting for him to go for the res. And as soon as he does, drop a little bit of damage on him, and the Willbender shows back up as well. But the Untamed is so low, I'm able to get him down fairly quickly, and now I make some distance on this Willbender. And now I have to stomp this Untamed because I do not have enough cleave for the pet res, so I decided to C-split Distort, get a safe stomp off, and then go right to this Willbender. Now he goes for the RF, which buys me a little bit of time on my own cooldowns, which is good. I'm able to follow it up with a Shield 4 block as soon as he comes out, and then a Spear 3, and then a safe heal with Midnight Signet. Now, I know that the other players are probably going to come back fairly soon. I'm trying to make quick work of this guy, and just like that, the Reaper is back once again. I'm able to pop Massive Viz, make a little bit of distance. That Axe 3 almost got me, but not quite. I'm able to get a Spear 2, port away, get my heal off, and then follow it up with a Spear 4 as well. Now, again, watching out for that Spinal and that Axe 2. I'm so low on cooldowns, though, that there's not a lot I can do, and then a Thief joins the fight. So the best thing to do is consolidate damage on the down. However, I poured away, and look at this. This guy tried to hit F to res this guy, and he started stopping the clone. I'm able to get the rally. Look at that. The Reaper is super, super low. I'm able to down him with a Spear 3 into the Spear 2 F1 combo, and the Thief dies as well to the Spear AoE. Look at that. Now, normally, if there's people to fight on Alpine Borderland, the further north you go, the scarier it gets. But I'm on my way up north. I see that the Reaper that I fought in the tower before is right here, so I decided to open up on him with a Spear Wombo combo. And if I can get this guy down, it'd create a nice focal point for this fight right here. I'm able to get him down. I decided to open up on the Renegade next, but I don't really have enough damage to get him down, so I decided to consolidate my damage on the down I already have. Luckily, I have a teammate here who's able to help me cleave, and once we get this guy double downed, it's going to create a nice situation for us. We're able to get him down, but we used a lot of cooldowns in the process, so I decided to port on top of the hill and get a Massive Viz for both of us, so we can make some distance and get a little bit of breathing room. Now, the double down state is the perfect catalyst, get it, catalyst, for what I'm about to do here, which you can do on any bursty roaming build. You just drop the wombo combo on top of the group that's resin, down 4 people, get the support tempest super low, get the power mirage super low, and guess what? They all scatter. Now, I saw the tempest went behind me, but he's probably pretty tanky and he probably has a lot of resustain, so I decided I'm going to go for the mirage instead. I can close the distance fairly easy with spear 4, blink, and spear 5, and I'm able to down this guy as well. And that is a perfect example of how to use a down state to create a focal point in any fight. Eventually, roaming on the Alpine Borderland, you will make it to North Camp. Now see, North Camp is a magical place, and it starts off pretty slow. You know, you capture the camp, you wait around for 5 minutes, a player, maybe 2 will show up, but North Camp, you're playing the long con here. You kill 1 guy, and it turns into 2. You kill 2 people, it turns into 4. You see where I'm going with this. A few seconds after the first kill, the ball starts rolling. There's a Willbender that shows back up, there is a Renegade, and there's also a Druid. Now, at the beginning of this fight, I'm playing pretty defensive because any down that I make will get rallied by the Supervisor. Now, as soon as the Supervisor goes down, I follow it up with a Shield 5 into the Wombo combo on top of the Willbender because it's going to do the most damage. Now, I decided to go to the Druid, but I see that the Renegade is going to go for the res, so I immediately swap targets to that. Now all I'm left with is the Druid. Now, this kind of leaves me in a weird spot because the Druid takes a very long time to kill, and honestly, right now I don't have the cooldowns for it. So, I have 2 choices. I can either try to get him out of the way as fast as possible, waste all of my cooldowns, or just kind of keep him busy until more show up, because they're definitely coming back. I chose to waste all my cooldowns, by the way. I absolutely wasted every cooldown and did not do anything. Until a DH and the Willbender showed back up, and then I decided, you know what, maybe it is time for me to make some distance, and, you know, just back off a little bit. So that's exactly what I did. Backed off, charged my mantra, bided my time a little bit, just kind of saw what was approaching me. I see there's the Renegade from before, I see that the DH is there, the Willbender is there, and the Druid. Now, they down all of the NPCs in the camp, so I'm not worried about rallying them just yet. I decided to open up on the DH because getting hit with a DH chain is like taking an arrow to the knee in Skyrim. You gotta get that guy out of the way first. In the process, I'm able to down the Willbender right on top of him, and now the hard part has started. I have to maintain both of these downs with 2 support players on top of them. Now this is a lot easier said than done, and luckily, Spear does do a lot of damage, but it's really just luck trying to keep both of these guys down. Now, I'm able to make some distance, get my heal off, charge my mantra, and once they go for that res, I'm able to drop another Wombo combo on top of them, down the Renegade, and I'm able to down the Druid with a Spear 4 as well. And this is where I probably should have left, but for some reason, I cannot take a win and leave. I can't do it. And so I wait until a new Willbender shows up, the Willbender from before shows up, the DH from before, and the Renegade from before show up. But I decided to open up on the new Willbender just to see how glassy he is, and he is extremely glassy. So I'm able to down this guy, and then I decide to get clarity on the down and then open up with a Spear 5 before they can get any sort of res potential on him. Unfortunately, this leaves me pretty low on HP, but I was able to down the DH in the process, and now I have 2 downs to work with. Make some distance, and then I try to go for a double shield 5, just because, you know, I thought that maybe the Willbender would jump on me, and he did on the second go around, but it didn't work. And back to respawn I go again. Okay, I am sorry. I have got to include this in the video. I can't make a roaming video without hating on Thief, and there is no funny jokes. There is no constructive criticism. This is just straight hate and hurt ego coming at you right now. And, you know, this is 500% speed. Condi Axe Bound Thief, gotta love it. I just want you to pay attention to those cleanses and that timer on that arc DPS thing. And then, you know, we can continue with the next clip. Southwest Tower. Now, right now, this is my spawn tower, but I don't own it, okay? So I'm walking over here, seeing what's going on. I see there is a Dragon Hunter and a Willbender on top of Katas right now. Now, obviously, I open up on the DH. If you haven't noticed yet, DH is like top 3 favorite targets to open up on, just because, you know, they have that God Chain, they have the traps, and they have Dragon's Maw. So I want to get him out of the way as fast as possible. I'm able to down him fairly quickly, and as soon as I do get the down, a Hammer Spellbreaker joins the fight. So now I'm left in a 1v2 with a Spellbreaker and a Willbender, which is a very, very dangerous game for me to play. I know I'm not going to be able to stomp this DH with all the CCs around, so I decide to go for a little bit of cleave damage, and as soon as I start to feel pressured, make some distance, get a safe heal off, and then pop my Master Viz and make my way back towards the downstate. Because typically most players are going to go for a res, I'm able to consolidate a lot of damage, and I'm able to do a ton of damage to the Willbender. However, I'm going to keep my target on the downstate because I do not want to let him get up, because that will most definitely lose the fight for me. Now at this point, the Willbender is low, and I'm going to focus him, but the most dangerous thing is the Spellbreaker. So trying to get the Willbender down, but focusing on the Spellbreaker just because that F2 is pretty much always going to proc, and he has a ton of CC potential. And I need to save a stun break, because once you get CC'd once by a Hammer Warrior in general, it turns into about 5 or 6 stuns, and then you never move again. But while this fight is going on, a no rank Mirage has joined the fight. Now at first I wasn't too worried about him. No ranks are typically not that dangerous. Most of them are pretty new, and I wasn't really worried about it. Now I'm slowly whittling down this Spellbreaker. He is defense, but luckily I'm pretty sure he's full Zerk, so it doesn't take too long to get him down, and then I'm left with a 1v1 with this Mirage. Now I thought this was just a Connie Mirage, but here in about a second you're going to see all my health just disappear, and that lets you know that that is a Grieving Mirage. Now Grieving Mirage is a lot scarier than Trailblazer's Mirage, believe it or not, but I have continued to split up. I feel confident. And as I'm fighting this guy, I'm starting to realize that he is not just a typical no rank. Either it's an alt account or he's a PvP guy, but he hits me with an insane staff interrupt on the heal. Try to go for it again, get it, try to go for a clarity, miss it, and then open up with a Spear 5 into another Spear 2. Swap for the cleansing and down him with a Scepter 2, just like that. Guys, this video is getting pretty long, so I want to go ahead and wrap it up here. I wanted to do a fight in like every single objective in the Alpine Borderlands, but that would have been like a 45-minute video, and I think that's just a little bit too long. So, you know, maybe there's a part 2, maybe, I don't know. There is a balance patch preview live stream happening today as I record this video. So, you know, if it doesn't get shaken up too bad, I might make a part 2. We'll see what happens there. Also, you know, just been trying to focus on more general fighting and roaming tips. So if there's anything you want me to focus on or any suggestions, definitely let me know. I want to get as many people into this kind of playstyle as possible. Obviously, you know, that's the thing I like to do. And also, you know, I just hit 3K subs. Huge thanks for that. I don't know how we got here because I'm just a dude doing my thing and kind of winging it at the same time. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it. And with all that being said, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.